We are live.
Yay.
Okay, Assalamu alaikum, everybody. This is Yvonne from My Hello Kitchen, and I am here with Dr. Saima of Salaam Nutritionals. Thank you so much for talking to us today. Saima is a pharmacist who created the wonderful halal brand called Salaam Nutritionals. Can you show us your product?
I have my products right with me. This is our newest. Well, can I get that right? This is our prenatal gummy vitamins. This is the first of its kind, actually. I'm not getting it right. Prenatal halal gummy vitamins. It took us such a long time to make this. I'm super excited for this project. We'll talk more about that after.
Talk about your process. So we did it several years ago. And what I was really excited about, obviously, that your products are halal, but I'm a terrible pill taker, and that I cannot swallow pills for the life of me. I mean, doctors always look at me when I ask about the prescription and what it's like, and I think, oh, it's a big pill. I can't do it. I don't know if
I can't either. I can't either. To this day, I have to. It's funny. Everyone. I take my any pill that, like a fish oil, for example, they're so big. I have to go like this and shake my head. It's just ridiculous. I cannot do it. I gag.
I can't. Yeah, I'm scared of it. I'm scared I'm going to choke. And so all of your products are gummies, which even for the adults, which I mean, personally, I'm like, oh my God, that's awesome, because they taste good. They have different flavors. And nothing is artificial. So those of you moms out there, you really want to pay attention to today's conversation, because Dr. Saima talked to us about, how she basically, created her products so healthy, so not full of that junk. I mean, everything about your vitamins are clean, and you even say that on your website, which I thought is great. Your website is great, by the way.
Thank you. We've worked so hard on that. We're going to make some changes, but alhamdulillah, we've come a long way from where I was to where we are now.
Yes, I'm going to let you tell your story, and I will be providing links in the comments here, so people can link to your website, your project that you're doing. We're going to go. I'd like to talk to you more about that, where you're providing vitamin A drops to needy children. That's beautiful. I'm going to provide a link to your video about that, and also that your products are available in My Halal Market. And today, for a week, they'll be 10% off. So we'll get into all of that, and you guys can ask your questions. Please do, because many people say, why do certain things have to be halal certified? And the good question is, why do vitamins have to be halal certified, or why should they be halal certified? And you've done a great job with all of that. So I'm going to stop talking and let you do the talking and tell us more about your background as a person, as a pharmacist, and then how you basically came to create this wonderful line of halal vitamins.
Yeah, so my background, I'm a pharmacist by trade, and I was doing after pharmacy school. I decided to pursue a residency because I didn't want to work like in a retail store like Walgreens or like a Walmart. Right? Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I just knew that wasn't for me. So I was more interested in actually talking to patients, because when I was in pharmacy school, that's the part that I really loved. It was actually interacting with the patients, seeing where their pitfalls were, at what part of the healthcare journey did they kind of derail, and which is why they're constantly going to the doctors. Why do they have these chronic diseases? Because a lot of these chronic diseases can be either reversed or prevented through diet and exercise.
Yes.
So that's why I actually wanted to pursue a residency, which back in the day, this is like 10 years ago, which wasn't really common. So I'm really glad I pursued that route, because my residency, I did it in family medicine. So I was working with the physicians in medical clinics, and that's where I actually got this. I had no plans to be an entrepreneur, no plans of being, owning a business, but it was the patients, the moms kept coming back to us during the visits and saying that, I can't get my kids to eat any vitamins. I can't get them to eat because they're picky eaters in general. And the vitamins that are on the market at that time, they're either gummies really didn't exist at that time. It was more so the Flintstone vitamins.
Yeah, which is what I grew up on, by the way.
Me too. That's all there was. Because I like you mentioned earlier, we could not swallow tablets. It was really difficult. So kind of the only option that we had was
Yeah.
The only option we had were the Flintstones. So I was like, okay, well, another thing that moms kept constantly saying is their children have so many allergies. They're allergic to so much stuff.
No, yeah.
And then we would see patients come in with hives, with rashes.
Oh my God.
Sometimes going to the ER, even as I work in a hospital now, we still see patients children come into the ER for anaphylactic reactions.
Oh God, that's scary.
Super nuts, for example. Nuts are in everything. So you have to, that's like the number one killer for children is like peanut butter, because the little kids, they're not going to know what they're allergic to, or if they do, they forget to tell their teacher or forget to ask what's in their cookies or, the desserts that are coming into play. So that's where I kind of got the idea. Okay, I'm having so many patients, so many moms come to me and say their children are not falling into their health spectrum. They're not meeting the growth charts. And it's because of their lack of food and nutrition. So I was like, okay, well, there's vitamins. I know there's vitamins out there because there's gelatin. So the reason why I wanted to do this was because the gummy vitamins provide a unique delivery option. So they're not the tablets, they're not the chockable, the chewable vitamins.
Yeah, that are very chalky. Yeah.
Exactly. So I was like, well, there's gummies out there and there's pectin. So why are all the vitamin companies at that time using gelatin? Now, gelatin, 90%, 95% or more, they're made from pork.
Yes.
So I was like, well, there's pectin. And if you don't know what pectin is the enzymes that are in usually citrus peels, like usually oranges. That's where we get our pectin from.
Right.
So, okay, so I need to pursue this. I know there's a way to do it. No one's done it before. Why not? And it's usually
so for people, can I just stop you for a second? So people who make jam, for example, they would know what pectin is because you can buy it in the store, to kind of gel up your jam, right? Yeah. And in the olden days, they would just use the rind, I guess, of the lemon or orange or something like that. It's a natural product, not meat based at all.
Yeah. But it's more expensive because the process that you have to do all that. That's why bigger companies are always look at the bottom line. And
exactly.
And gelatin is usually made from all the bones and ligaments of animals that you're already going to eat anyway. It's all the leftover stuff. It's kind of gross.
Well, and pork is the cheapest of all of the proteins.
Exactly.
Right?
Yep. Yeah. Exactly. So I sat out. Okay, I know this exists. So I just need to find the right manufacturer who's willing to work with me, not just make it pectin based, but I needed someone that would make it totally allergen free, which means that any product in the manufacturing site, they cannot use any type of nuts, no dairy, no gluten, no wheat, no soy, all of the top 8 allergens. So that was probably the hardest part of finding a manufacturer who's willing to work with me, not just having it gelatin based, but also aligning with my goals that I wanted no types of allergen inside the facility.
That is so important today. I mean, because anything can trigger, these kids if it's just like on a table nearby them, right? It can trigger those allergies. So that's so.
And food allergies, side note, they get worse over time. So if you're truly, at a young age, you can try with your allergist. I would recommend this, going to an allergist office and getting tests done where you can slowly see the reaction. So you would have to be in the office all day long. And it's kind of called, I can never say this word because I have my Invisalign in, but it's desensitization. I can never say that word. But you're basically, you're desensitizing your body to the allergic reaction. So that's right. Usually for like nuts and stuff. And then the allergist would poke, it will make a lot of marks in your arms. So many marks on your arms. So, and then hours later, it's very small. And hours later, you're going to see if you have a reaction or not. So that's an
monitored as well under doctor supervision.
Exactly. I wouldn't recommend that at home. It's like if you think your child's allergic to nuts, don't give him peanut butter thinking I'm going to watch him. That's not safe.
Yeah, no, you have to be under doctor supervision for that. Yeah, it's so scary. I mean, people, moms with kids with allergies are just terrified because anything can happen so fast. And then you need to be by an emergency room to get any it's very, very scary. Yeah.
Super scary. So I had to keep that in mind. And that's one of the reasons why I took so long to pick a manufacturer who's willing to work with me that way. But finally, alhamdulillah, we did. And so I only started off with the children's products. I only wanted, the kids around there. And that's when I reached out to you too. And I started like 5 years ago.
Yes, I remember it was children's. And I thought that was great too, because at the time there, it was really like more vitamins were more focused on the kids in the halal space.
Yeah, especially gummy vitamins, because you're like, like I don't want to take gummies. That's for kids.
Yeah, it didn't seem like, but I like
But it's funny because like I said, I had no intention of making it any type of adult products, but it was the parents who kept emailing me over and over. They're like, either you need, because at that time I had a 60 count bottles, and because it was 2 a day for it was 1 month supply. But the moms are like, I'm eating your vitamins, either increase your quantity of your bottles or make an adult line. I'm like, okay,
Right.
expect that.
They're easy to eat too. And I think because kids like the gummy candy, it just seems like it makes so much sense.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up. So people like parents and children who think they're candy because they look like gummies. So there's a couple of reasons why. Number one, we have to have the child-proof cap on there.
Yes.
We do that on purpose so children can't easily open it and just, gobs of them.
Very good. You're so thoughtful about your entire process.
Yeah. And another big thing, I get this question all the time, is why don't my products have iron in them? Now, that was very intentional, again, because most people don't know this, but the number one fatality in children under 5 when it comes to overdosing on vitamins, it's iron.
Wow.
And
why is that?
Because it's toxic. So too high of levels can cause bleeding. It causes internal bleeding.
Oh my God, that is scary. Okay. Yeah. So you really, really know your stuff, and you were really intentional on every step of the way.
Yeah. And which is why I think it's important, if you're going to follow any type of, if you're going to purchase anything, make sure that you're talking to someone about it, and not just someone on Instagram is telling you, oh, I take this for my child, you should do it too. Do your own research and make sure the person recommending the product usually has somewhat of, like a background kind of related to it. Right. I'm not saying that don't take anyone else's advice, but if they're introducing to a new product, that's perfect. But do your own research to make sure that it's acceptable for you and your family.
Well, you're a trained pharmacist as well, so you know the interactions, you know your stuff, and I think that's the beautiful part of it, that you have this medical background, and then you transitioned into entrepreneurship based on what parents were telling you they needed, and trusting that you could bring that product to market that would be safe and in all aspects, and so, but you also made it really fun. I really think that you made it delicious. Good tasting. Now they're for adults, and then and you also have a mission behind what you're doing. So I'll let you transition into that. But I just think that overall, you've just done such a fantastic job. So, and you're also kosher, right?
Yes, and like I said, so pretty much my whole. Like I said, I have no business training. I never wanted to be like a true entrepreneur. I kind of always had a passion for business, but my whole company mission has been guided by the audience, by my followers. And I love it because they're paying attention. And sometimes when you're a business owner, you're like, well, my products are out there and there's millions of people. Is anyone paying attention? Is anyone listening? They don't know my story, but so many people were. And it's always nice, oh my God, I got a sale from someone I don't know. I remember that first sale I got from the
stranger. Not your mother, when it's somebody other than your mother who's it
was so nice. And then, and it was just people emailing me like, hey, I noticed your products were halal certified. Have you ever thought about getting kosher certified? Because, especially the Jewish community, they're very strict.
Yes.
Well, for them, just like some Muslims, some Muslims are not okay with something being kosher certified. They want it halal certified. Sure, so many inquiries about, because there is a slight difference. So many inquiries about getting the halal, the kosher certificate, that ended up just doing it. Alhamdulillah, it worked out really nice.
So, you're already so far in that process. And for people who understand the whole halal certification process, you're more than halfway there by
and I would say that the kosher certificate is actually more strict because we actually I had to pay for a rabbi to come out to the manufacturing site to see the entire thing. So I have a double certificate just to ensure there's no gaps of any type of safety issues or
we'll talk about a truly it's not, I know it's not religion based, but you're covering bases, right? You're really
I don't want to exclude anybody. There should be no reason why anyone should be excluded. Health should be for everybody.
It's an inclusive vitamin. So I love that. I love that. So then from this was 5 years ago you started the children's, and now so when did you start the adult products?
Probably about a year and a half into it. It was pretty fast. And I was like, oh, okay. So that's when I came out with the adult vitamins. And then I was like, well, adult vitamins is really great. So what's going to be the next step? So, and then I thought, most women, especially Muslim women, because we're, dressed more conservatively, we're not getting vitamin D. We're not going out in the sun as much. And even when in my practice, everyone was coming in with like low vitamin D levels. And if you have low vitamin D levels, it triggers a whole host of other problems and issues on the mind. For example, if you have low vitamin D levels, that means that even if you're taking your calcium, even if you're not taking a supplement, if you're just drinking milk and having dairy products, you're not absorbing as much as you can, because you need that vitamin D, because they work synergistically together. So if you don't have one, you're not getting the benefit of the other.
Yeah, that's so
So low vitamin D can lead to low calcium levels, depression. It can lead to hair loss. It can lead to muscle dysfunction, impaired glucose. It's a lot of different things.
I was diagnosed as being pre-diabetic a few years back, and my doctor recommended she recommended that I just take more vitamin D. She said if you boost your vitamin D,
exactly,
it'll be like this domino effect that will help other things. I was so shocked, because it's really a very simple thing. Yeah.
So that's why I came out with the vitamin D. I was like, well, I know for a fact women need it. I need it. My levels are always low. If you're critically low, you do need to get your blood test done and get on a prescription. It's usually a very, very high dose, 50,000 units once a week for 1 month. And then you're on to a maintenance dose. Usually that's 2,000 international units, which is exactly what we have in our products.
So I'm going to put a link on in our comment section so people can start taking a look at your, because you do say on your bottles plus vitamin D3, I believe, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let me just do that real quick.
Yeah.
So everybody can have that and take a look.
And it's just good habit. If next time you go to your doctor, just ask them to get a vitamin D blood test done, just so you can see where your levels are. Because if you're not feeling well, you don't know exactly what's causing it. You don't have any other issues. You might just have low vitamin D, and it's such a quick, easy fix.
Yeah, exactly. And I love that you've included that in your, you've stated it right on top of your, in the labels, because I hate having to look at everything. Whoa. Yeah. Should have turned that up. I hate having to look at too many ingredients, but you've really said like the most important ingredients on your labels, which I really like. They're very attractive.
I know people aren't going to read. They want to look at the front. What's the benefit of this? They need to know right away.
Right, and I think halal consumers particularly, and also kosher consumers, are it's like we have to spend more time at the stores to kind of look at everything so intently, and it gets tiring. So
totally.
So you've really listened to your customers. You really, really listened, and you really.
This whole company it's because of the audience. That's really, really what it is.
So tell us, what have been some of your challenges or obstacles to getting all the ingredients to be truly halal or truly kosher in the sense, because it's not easy. And I really want people to start to appreciate when there's a really good halal product in the market. You have to support these people and these products, because you're doing a huge service to us. I mean, we can constantly complain about all the products that are on the market and this ingredient isn't halal and this is, well, you've taken the guesswork out of it for us. But I know that wasn't easy. So what were the challenges of getting truly halal ingredients to be included?
The biggest thing is researching. That takes the longest amount of time. The second is to see what's on the market and what's not, and trying to fill in the gaps. And the biggest one probably is getting your manufacturing. If I have my own manufacturing plant, that's probably any business owner who sells any type of, it doesn't matter if it's clothing or food or supplements. If you had your own plant, you make all the calls. But unfortunately, we don't. We have to work with a co-packer who kind of calling the shots because they have minimum order quantities. And if you're a small business, that's probably the biggest thing. It's like, I want to do so much, but I can't, because I'm limited by either by capital or because of the co-packer wants such huge minimum order requirements. I'm like, well, I'm a small business. I can't exactly fulfill the same requirements that Walmart can at this point. Maybe inshallah one day, that's my goal. So, but that's probably the biggest hurdle, is just what I want to do and not being able to fulfill the minimum order requirements that my manufacturer says that I need to do in order to move forward. Because I have to look at it from their perspective as well, because they have big machinery and they need big orders. It's not like a little blender, like a Vitamix or blending. It's big machinery. So they want big orders. They want big bulk ingredients. And if I'm purchasing something, even if I'm using half a bag of the vitamin D, for example, and I can't afford to use the rest of it because that I have other stuff that's involved besides just the wholesale ingredients, then I'm leaving that for the next customer, and that manufacturer is like gets the benefit of me buying it, but I'm not using the entire thing because I can't. So it really comes down to capital and me not being able to fulfill the big purchase orders that they want from me. So I have to be thoughtful about what already exists, how I can do to make it better, and just slowly come out with the products that I know will fit the need of my audience right now.
Have you ever done a launch good or a Kickstarter type of campaign to?
I get really self-conscious about that. I'm like, it's just maybe like a pride thing. I'm like, I'm afraid asking for money. If that sounds bad, I don't know.
Well, it all depends. I think you have to be really ready for something like that. But maybe people here can tell us, that they would once they hear more of your story and your background and how you're working so hard to do this, they would probably tell you otherwise. But I also want to point out that you work full time as well.
I'm ready to say it's like I work full time, so I fund the whole thing by myself, which is why this growth has been a little bit slower. But for me, it actually works out nice because I like to be involved in every step of the way. I want to see, what's working, what's not working. If I took a step back and just let someone else handle it, then I would be so like uninvolved. That's not what I want. I want to be involved in the business because I want to listen to those customers. They're directly contacting me, and I need to hear the good and I need to hear the bad too, so I can fix it.
Yeah.
So, working full time, it still allows me to pursue both passions. So I don't want to lose the education I spent, 10, 12 years doing.
Yes, exactly.
I want to be involved in medicine because if you don't use it, you lose it. So I don't want to fall out of practice either. So I still work full time and I want to pursue the business. But over time, my plan is to at least work part time. And then pursue the business more because I know it's how many people the business impacts so many more people than I can do at my job. So I want to pursue that too.
Yeah. Are you planning to do any other types of vitamins? I mean, someone is asking about probiotics. So I don't know if that's even in your line of vision or anything, but are you planning to extend your line of vitamins or?
Yes, I'm glad you asked that. So the number one question we're getting right now, so the number one question a year ago was prenatals. When do you connect with the prenatals? So we did that, alhamdulillah. And I have to say that I was so scared to do that because this sounds really bad, but I'm really scared of pregnant women because their senses are everywhere. And it's like, their smell is heightened, their taste is heightened. And some people love the product. Some people are like, oh my God, I hate it. But I love the feedback. I need that feedback to make it better. So the next round we're having, I actually improved the formula, and I think it's so much better. Because I listened to the girls. The girls were saying that 4 gummies were too much. So I'm like, okay, it's fair enough. So I decreased it to 3 gummies. I improved the taste. We got better ingredients based off the feedback. So alhamdulillah, in about 2 months' time, watch out for our new prenatal.
Do you have that bottle right there with you?
Right here.
Can you show us what the actual vitamin looks like?
I'm glad you asked that. I was so thoughtful about it. I made it into little hearts because I wanted the
wow.
I wanted the moms to be like, I'm doing this for my baby. Sometimes taking vitamins and stuff are hard.
Oh, I love that because the thing you hear the most when you get your ultrasound is the baby's heartbeat, and I think that's
Yeah, I'm trying to be really thoughtful. I want to be cute. It's a prenatal, and at this woman's time, it's like really special time. And I just want them as a daily reminder. They're doing, even if they don't feel like taking vitamins, because I know sometimes it can be a chore. When they look at that little heart, I want them to remember it's for their kid.
and it's a reminder that you're doing it for the baby as well. So you're so thoughtful. I'm so impressed with you throughout the years. I've seen you evolve and change, and you're so busy. It's like I'm lucky I even got you to do
anything.
but it's those little details that you're doing that are just so special. So I just want everybody to really notice that as well. And speaking of how thoughtful you are and the special things you do, I was on your website and I was noticing your work out of the country to provide vitamin A drops to children in need. So I'm going to put a link to that video now. Could you explain to us what that's all about? Because it was so touching to watch. It's only a minute, but I was going to cry.
To date, 5 years when I started, this is probably the best. I think this is the reason, everyone has to figure out their why. Why are they doing the business? Why are they pursuing their career? And I thought my business, part of it is, yes, providing good, healthy vitamins to Muslims. But I feel like now my true purpose of the business really was because of the charity aspect of it and to give back. So 5 years ago, I knew when I started my business, I still wanted to give back. That's always been part of my growing up anyways, I was giving back to the community. And even when I was doing my residency, I spent 6 months in Africa, or not 6 months, sorry, 6 weeks in Africa doing a rotation.
Where in Africa?
It was in Kenya in Africa in about 2000. I graduated residency 2011, so it must have been 2010.
Mm-hmm.
We worked there for 6 weeks, and we set up medical camps all throughout, the country, and helping HIV patients, helping, just communities that had no access to healthcare all year long. This clinic that we had once a year was their only access to health. Only time they got to see a doctor. And that moment stuck with me. I was like, oh, I cannot believe this. There's people out in the world who never have access to a doctor, who can never treat their children for aches or pains, or, if they're losing their vision. Simple things that that can be treated with vitamins and minerals and, antibiotics and stuff like that. So
because when they're malnutrition, right? It's the simple vitamins we don't think about maybe in the Western world that, can start to deteriorate the body just by not having, certain foods available.
Yeah. So that kind of stuck with me. So when I started my business, I was like, well, I kind of remember them at all times. So I wanted to give 10% of my proceeds back to different organizations, different charities. And that worked out really well. A lot of people were reaching out to me, and we did a lot of great things with that. It was just last year, I got an email from Dr. Hina Khan. She's a pediatrician in Texas, and she is a volunteer physician with Med Global. So they do international work with different, not just refugee camps, but just different countries who need healthcare, who are underserved. And she reached out to me because she was in Bangladesh, and there was a huge refugee camp there. And she emailed me and said that, hey, I know you do a lot of charity work. Would you mind donating vitamins to the kids? And truthfully, I was like, well, I mean, the camp is huge. There's probably 20,000 more families there. I was like, there's just no way for me to send enough vitamins to everyone and financially support that. And the bigger picture was, that's a Band-Aid. Truth be told, the children there are malnourished, and me giving them a week's supply, 2 weeks supply maximum, is just putting a Band-Aid on a bigger problem. So I'll get back to you. Let me figure out what we can do with this malnourishment issue. So I got onto the World Health Organization's website, UNICEF, just guidelines on what we can do to treat chronic malnutrition in children overseas. And vitamin A kept coming up, and it kept coming up over and over and over again. And all of a sudden I started researching into it, and there's so many guidelines. I'm like, why isn't no one doing? There's literally no one doing this. So
really?
I mean, there's UNICEF does it to certain countries and stuff, but it's not like a widespread campaign that a lot of people know about. And I guess in America, we wouldn't know about it because we don't have a need for that. So, but there are other companies who are in the health space providing that need. So I was like, well, this is huge. Why is no one taking this opportunity? Well, no one wanted to do it because it's a lot of work. Number one, it's easier to always give money, but I don't know where that money is actually going. That's why when I gave I was in very close, had really close relationships with every person I did a lot of work with. Zamzam Water, we do a lot of work with them. So I love them. So I know for a fact all the money goes straight there because I go on trips with them all the time. So I researched what I can do. Then I manufactured my own vitamin A capsules, which that in itself took a lot of work. It took me 6 months of negotiation with the manufacturer to try to do that. They're like, well, why do you want it? We're not making any money off of it, blah, blah, blah. And I was like,
did you do that just because of this request? You could.
That was literally the only. You literally changed my whole direction of the business, and I'm so thankful because here's the beauty of it. So it's one little. I wish I had him with me. It's one little drop, literally this big, and
you can see it on the video. You can see it on the video.
Yeah, there's a video. You cut off the tip of it, and you just literally squeeze one drop into the child's mouth, and they're good for 6 months. That drop stays in their liver, and slowly over time is slowly released, and it helps prevent anemia. It helps prevent waterborne diarrhea because the water is not very clean out there. It helps prevent stunting. It helps their the growth. It helps their cells in the cells to function properly. And it's just one drop every 6 months. And for children under 5, and it's amazing. And so I started doing all that, and alhamdulillah, it took me a long time to convince my new manufacturer to help me do this because he's like, "What are you doing this? No one's done this before." I'm like, "You're gonna help me figure it out." So we figured it out. We did it. Alhamdulillah.
So you figured this out based on the email that you got. Just for people who are just coming on, I just want to repeat this because it's so important. 20,000 kids or people in a camp in Bangladesh needed. They were malnourished, and you researched and found that vitamin A was the thing that they needed, and then you went and manufactured it.
I went and manufactured it. Then I spoke to physicians who are volunteering overseas, and I asked them. I was nervous. I was like, I've never done this before, and it's a super high dose. It's 200,000 units once every 6 months. To compare that to it's like 1,000 units we can get. To 200,000 to 1. Of course, I was nervous. So
in that one drop.
In that one drop. Yeah, it's super concentrated. So I was super nervous. I was like, oh my God. I mean, am I, this is the right thing? I had no experience. So then I contacted so many physicians who are actually on site giving these drops because they were part of UNICEF. They're like, Saima, it's every child overseas needs this, and no one's died from it. No one's gotten sick from it. It's something that every child, that gave me so much confidence and peace of mind because at the end of the day, it's something happens, it's my name on it. And I would never want that to happen to any child, but them giving me reassurance, they've been doing this for so long and giving these drops to thousands of kids, not a single one, nothing happened to a single child. That gave me so much relief to go,
They weren't doing that in Bangladesh though.
They were doing this in Africa. So very, very hard hit countries where UNICEF already had a presence.
Right. But the fact that you were being asked to help, this wasn't being done.
I was being asked to help in other areas where they weren't being reached. And through my company. And UNICEF, I don't know who manufactured. I think it's all based off donations and maybe private donations. I'm not sure. But I wanted my name on it because I thought this is so impactful and it's life-saving and it's huge. So then I went myself with Zamzam Water. We go on an annual trip. We went to Rwanda. We did a pilot run. And we organized it. We got their permission from the Ministry of Health to do this. She was super excited. And, I thought it was just going to be, so we showed up to the village and I thought it was going to be, a couple families. The entire village showed up, over 500 people. I was in shock and I had to give this huge speech. I was so nervous. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe people are waiting for me. But for the kids there. And we have a highlight video and I actually got to administer their drops and no side effects. Everyone was really happy. The moms loved it. The kids are, doing great. So
you're following up with the kids, after 6 months?
So we're not going to just we're not giving them out to anybody. We're giving them out to only organizations who have a medical presence, who have a medical team. So that's why when I went with Zamzam Water, we're in touch with the local manager there, the healthcare manager, and he's in charge of it and he keeps me up to date. And then we also reached out to Med Global again. We gave our vitamins to Colombia. So he went out, was one of the board members there went out and he gave it to the children there. Again, through Zamzam Water, we had given them out to children in Palestine. We're still in transit there.
Nice.
And then we did it in Afghanistan. And so slowly, we had big plans. We actually I'm working with a partnership with a very big nationwide charity organization, but it kind of got put on hold because of COVID, but we're still in work. So I'm hoping to give them a very, very large donation and it'll go to children in Nigeria.
You are amazing, Saima.
So alhamdulillah. Guys, my whole business is you guys. You guys tell me what to do, and I'm like, okay, you know what? This actually makes sense. So let's go for it.
Wow. If there's even just one reason to support you and what you're doing and to buy your vitamins, I think it's even just that. I mean, you are, and you're single-handedly basically doing this yourself. I mean, I'm sure you have some help out there somewhere, but you are the spearhead. You are You
Yeah.
are the head honcho doing it. How do you do all this yourself? How do you manage?
No, I'm chronically sleep deprived. I mean, that's the truth of it. So I was like, today I thought our meeting was at 9 o'clock. I was like, okay, I have to go to bed. I'm only gonna get 6 hours of sleep. I'm like, wait, I asked my friend, and she said, no, Pacific Standard Time, you stupid. It's 11. I was like, oh my god, I get 2 extra hours of sleep. I was so excited.
Why do you think I did it at 11? Because I'm still trying to, gulp down a cup of coffee at 9 o'clock. I mean, almost.
So honestly, it's just time management. Like I have to just if it's important to you, you're gonna do it. And there is a lot of sacrifice I do. That's the truth. It's not gonna happen overnight. It's not easy. But if you want something, you're passionate about it, you're gonna make time for it.
Totally. And in the halal space, I mean, can you tell me what was your reason for even making it halal? Because you could have just made a vitamin without really even saying it's halal or kosher or whatever. But what was because I know a lot of Muslims who are in business, and I know people who also don't really pay a lot of attention to halal. They kind of look at something and say, "Oh, it looks good enough," or why am I going to spend more for something that's certified? What was your MO for that?
Well, I needed to do something for the Muslim community because no one else was. That's basically the truth of it. And I knew the big manufacturers could, but the only reason they weren't doing it was because it was a little bit more costly and they weren't paying attention to us. If they were paying attention to us, they would know how beneficial and how supportive the Muslim community would be. But since they weren't doing it, someone had to step in. And I felt like someone with my background was probably the perfect person to do it. So that's kind of why. And I had so many Muslim moms coming up to me and saying, there's literally nothing for my child to eat. And seeing that constantly in the office, it was heartbreaking. I was like, well, if your children are picky, you can't really fight with them if they're not going to eat good food.
Right.
You can give them good supplements. If you make it fun for them, they're going to take it.
Right. It seems like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose you to do this because you are the perfect person to bring all of this to light. So I'm just so honored that you've taken time out of your really busy schedule to be here. So let's see if there's any questions or anything. There's lots of thanks here. One Farida is saying that her son is allergic to peas and almost touched it near to his lip, turned bluish, and had difficulty breathing. That was scary. So she's thanking you for your advice. I think that all the attention to detail that you've had in the vitamins in terms of, I wouldn't even think of vitamins being a cause for allergy, but I guess they are, they can, anything edible. That's the other thing. I think when people think of halal, they think mostly of food, but not pharmaceutical stuff. They think, well, it's medicine, so, it doesn't matter, but it does matter because there are options, and someone like you is proving that the option is there.
Yep.
So we as consumers really need to support that because without us supporting you, you can't stay in business.
Totally. Yeah. And those certificates are very expensive. Like we have to, it's annually. We have to, and their job is to make sure that we're doing our job. We're not just putting something on the label just to sell something and market something. So people constantly ask me, well, I can go to Walmart and get vitamins for $10, or why am I paying like $17 for yours? Well, the stuff you're getting is gelatin based and you're not getting good stuff. And the top 2 ingredients are going to be high fructose corn syrup in there. And it's going to be, the dyes that they use to make it the fun colors, like the red, what is it, red 40 and the caramel colors and all that. We know that carcinogenic, so we have to use. So we use turmeric, for example, for the coloring. We use coconut oil to get something better than canola oil, just to make it a little bit softer. We'll use annatto to get that reddish color. We'll use elderberry to get the purplish color. So we're using that food. And all that stuff costs money, and it's like anytime you go to a restaurant, for example, a burger is going to be super cheap compared to a salad because it costs more to get those type of ingredients. Same thing with vitamins. If you're using whole types of food, it's going to be more expensive. And we have to take into consideration of the halal certificate, our time, it's free shipping and the packaging and the bottling, all that stuff kind of adds up. And as a business owner, I'm very mindful of that, and I'm trying to keep the prices as low as possible. Like the shipping, for example, the post office raises their rates twice a year. I don't raise my rates, so every year I'm making less and less money because I still want the product to be affordable for everyone else. So it's little things like that, like people probably don't think about in business.
Line in business is, it can be a couple cents on each ingredient that will just either kill your business or
yeah.
And you have
margins on this stuff, so.
Yeah. And also, so I want to remind people, like you said, so you have free shipping, and also on our website, My Halal Market, right now there's a 10% off that Saima's offering if you use code MHK. So I'll put that in the comment list. The FISA is saying in the UK, a lot of time the vitamin ingredients are not clearly defined. So having a halal option is great. Will you have them distributed over here? That was going to be my next question as well.
So we do. I sell. We ship internationally on our website. But yeah, we don't currently have a distributor in the UK. But it's funny you said that, because I actually got an email today from someone from the UK wanting to be a distributor. So I'm gonna reply to their email and see what we can work out. But
great.
Inshallah, we'll have a distributor soon. But in the meantime, we definitely do ship internationally. International, unfortunately, isn't free shipping because it's very expensive. So we do have a flat fee, and but yeah, we do ship.
Yeah, you need to find maybe people in other countries. I've been in Turkey for the last year and a half, and they have good vitamins there. But I think it being such a country that is so great with kids, your product would be so much fun. And put your
are you there now?
About that? No, I'm not there now. But let's talk about that. Maybe we can get your products in Turkey. I for one would love to have had them there. I mean, and there's so much emphasis on pregnant moms and kids, and with your prenatals. And I would say that's probably true throughout the world, but particularly Muslim world needs your
Turkey
stuff.
holds a special place in my heart, because that was the very, very, very first country I went to, and we did our vitamin distribution. And this is when Syria was they're still going under the civil war, and they were fleeing to different countries, and they were in Syria, or they were in Turkey. And I remember them just being out in the streets, and people treated them really badly. The poor families had signs. I just felt terrible. So, very discreetly at nighttime, I would go and just give them bags of vitamins. And then we had toothbrushes in there, toothpaste. We had
So you were there. What were you doing there?
Just doing a vitamin drop, just doing a vitamin distribution. We were like, we heard that was happening, so we wanted to go there and see what we can do to help.
Yeah. Inshallah, things will get better for everybody. So Amina is saying, being a Purdue alum myself, I'm so proud.
I went to Purdue Pharmacy School.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yay,
as a Muslim woman, as a woman in general, I'm just so proud of you and proud of what you're doing. And and you're so hardworking, and you're an inspiration for a lot of people, not just women. But please keep up what you're doing. And I think that people will continue to watch this video, and even after it goes off live. So if anybody has questions, we can forward them to you if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Anything specific?
Someone had asked earlier in the comments about a probiotic.
Yeah.
I don't have a probiotic. Can you explain a little bit about probiotics? So I don't currently have one right now. That is something that I do want to pursue in the future. But I will say about probiotics. Yes, they're good for you, because probiotics, they're essentially live bacteria. So they repopulate your gut with the good bacteria. So especially if you're taking antibiotics, if you're chronically taking them, or even if you took them at one time, there's studies that shown even as a child, if you took one or two rounds of antibiotics, it can permanently disrupt the gut flora that you have in your stomach and your gut lining.
Yes.
And that leads to a whole host of problems later down in life, which is why you need to repopulate your gut with probiotics. Now, all probiotics should be live probiotics, which means they're live bacteria. When you eat them, they go down into your gut and repopulate. So you're getting the good bacteria over and over. Now, you may hear everyone, even like any Instagrammer or any person on the internet may say, I take this, you should take it too. My digestive system is great. I'm going to the bathroom regularly now. Now, I always caution that, because is it safe for everyone? Probiotics are actually not a good idea for everyone, especially if you have you have cancer, if you had chemotherapy within the last 30 days, that means that your neutrophil count is lower, and now you're putting an active live bacteria inside your gut that can create havoc. That can actually make you very ill. So that if you have active cancer or you're taking chemotherapy within the last 30 days, not a good idea. If you're pregnant, you're not supposed to take a probiotic. If you have recent GI bleeding, you're not supposed to take a probiotic. If you have HIV, you're not supposed to take a probiotic. So basically, if you're in any type of immunocompromised state, probiotics are not a good idea for you. Or if you have any type of gut issues, if you have SIBO, which is small intestine bacterial overgrowth, you already have too much bacteria. You don't need more bacteria. You're going to make your bloating, constipation.
Yeah, and people, that's why I try to bring in the experts, because I may know about food, but this medical stuff is it's not a one paintbrush fits all kind of solution for these sort of superfoods or health products. We have to be very careful and intentional.
Yeah, so I'm always telling people to be very, very cautious when someone is out promoting something. It may work. I'm not saying it's not going to work, but for you, look at your medical history, talk to your healthcare provider, talk to a pharmacist who may know a little bit more. Just reading a label. That way you can get more information and know if that it's safe for you or not.
Right. And then once they tell you what you need, you go and you look for, the right good product with clean ingredients and all of that. So
and then I will say, because of the vitamin A drops, the way we're doing that is every vitamin sold on our website, on your website, that's how we're donating a vitamin A drop to a child. That's how we're getting our counts and stuff. I would tell you the truth, we're still going to donate like 100,000, but
but people can feel good about the purchase in that they're also helping to.
They're part of it. They're the reason why. But if you don't buy, then we can't do it again. We can do it the first couple of years, but if you're not going to support, then ultimately aren't going to be getting the benefit from it. And then we have new products coming out in the pipeline, so I'm excited about that.
So you'll have to come back on when you bring out the products, and
it's going to be a good one. It's one that I get asked almost every single day, when are you going to come out with this? And it's a very, very good twist on what's already out there, because no one's done it before. So I'm super excited. I'll be showing you guys too. Yeah.
So you'll mum until it's out, right? You're not going to talk about it until it's out.
It'll be it's for your heart health. It's everyone can use it. Everyone's going to love it. I'm telling you, everyone's going to love it. Everyone can use it. And
official?
August, maybe. In about August, inshallah.
Well, if it's fish oil, I know you're going to make it taste good. If that's it. But I love that you say on your website, we take a boring pill and make it fun.
Yeah. A delicious gummy. Yeah. We put boring pills into the delicious gummies. Yeah.
Delicious gummies. Your personality really comes out in all of your products and your website. So you're a delight. Thank you so much, Saima.
Thanks for having me. I remember you because you hold a special place in my heart, because you were one of the very first people that actually replied to my email. As a new business, I will say, because they all look at your Instagram followers and your Facebook account, this and that, and it's like, you know what? We're a small fry, but we may not be a small fry in a couple of years. But you didn't care about that. So you replied to my email. You're the only one that did at that time. And that's why I was like, oh, I love her. So
no, I love the small fry. I think I saw what you were doing, and you had you had me at no artificial this, that, and the other thing. I mean, halal is one thing. Of course, I care tremendously about that, but I'm not a fan of put a halal label on it and then all the stuff is junk. No, thank you. Not into that. So I was so impressed with you sort of cleaning up this kind of product and also making it halal. So, and I'm just, I love your tenacity and creativity and your hard work. And so it's been really nice to see you grow,
Thank you.
I'm always kind of laughing when I see how busy you are, or like, when I talked to you yesterday on the phone, you really, because it motivates me as well to see, how much you are working so hard, and I respect that so much, and I want other people to support you as well because of that, because this is not an easy thing to do. You're literally bringing a service to us that we did not have, and it's very hard to replicate. So we need to appreciate our precious resources, and that is you.
Thank you so much. That means a lot, because I look at myself, and then I think everyone can relate to this, that they look at themselves and they compare themselves to someone else who's doing, maybe a little bit further along.
Yeah.
But you just telling me that, because I kind of forget how far I've come until someone reminds me, and then I take a step back. I'm like, wow, I know that was a long time
because
ago.
you've been so busy working at it, you know, then you look back and say, oh, I sold so many of this, or I've done all that, but you keep going, and well, you've got the best vitamins to keep you going.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for the support.
Yeah, no, I'm so proud of you. So proud of you. You're a real inspiration to our whole community, and such a blessing to everybody.
Thank you.
So, thank you, Saima. We will be back again, I guess, when you get that new product out. You better tell me.
I'm going to tell you first. You'll be the first person, and I'm going to send it to you, and I want you to taste it.
Okay.
And let me know how it goes.
All right. And we need to talk about turkey, because I think we could do some good over there.
Let's do it. I'm all about it.
All right. See the benefit, the buttercup of like getting together and coming up with more ideas. So thank you again. You've been wonderful, and best of luck. I know you have a busy day. This is your day off, but it's your business day, right?
It is. You know what? Today is content shooting day. So on Instagram, if you guys don't follow us on Instagram, follow us on Salaam Nutritionals.
Yes.
And I try to do, like, I've been getting, I don't know how the reaction is going to be, but people love it. Like when I talk about food, people just like you do, like people like don't think they understand how beneficial whole foods are and the different types. And me talking about it and just comparing foods, for example, of a carb is not a carb, you guys, or like, a starchy vegetable versus another starchy vegetable. They all have different nutrient profiles and just little workouts and stuff. So I'm trying to do videos like that, and then people are really loving it. So that's what I'm doing my days off now. Instead of relaxing, I'm like shooting content now. So it's like,
it's all gonna pay off. And you are a smart cookie, mashallah. You know a lot of what you're talking about. I mean, you're a plethora of information, so people really need to take heed of what you're saying. And I've enjoyed your Instagram as well lately. I've been seeing more and more and more. So I can tell how busy you are, because it keeps coming up in my feed, and I'm like,
and it wasn't before, but I'm like, you know what? We gotta do it. We have to do it. It's like, what else am I gonna do with my time? I guess I could rest.
Exactly. No time. What is rest? What is rest?
Fine. We'll rest later.
We'll rest later. Take all the vitamins. It'll be good.
I do.
Oh, see, so you take your own products. How did I know that was going to be the case? So
yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, I'll let you go do your content creation, and if people have more questions, I'll forward them off to you. But in the meantime, until you come back with your new product, we wish you the best.
Thank you so much, Yvonne. I really welcome.
All right. Take care. Bye.